I believe you can do that. So shall we start with a prayer? Any volunteer? They are reverends in the house.
Shall we pray? Shall we pray? Shall we pray? Father, we thank you this afternoon for the opportunity to have a family meeting. Pray that your presence will guide and lead us to the beginning to the end. And let us come up with decisions that will make our profession great, strong, and better. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So RD Hamda Wumi. Over to you, madam.
All right. Thank you very much, RD Percival. Good afternoon. Please, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, senior colleagues, and good afternoon to colleagues. This afternoon is one of the most important time of our lives in our profession. Over the past weeks, we've had few feedbacks, and the feedbacks, of course, was very needful on our professional page, and that has actually prompted GB to have this consultative meeting with our dietetic group. So on behalf of GB, the president, and all GB executives, I welcome all of you on board, and it is going to be very interesting, a conversation that will push our noble profession, our dear profession, to a different level, and that is going to be of positive growth. So on our agenda today, we'll have welcome and introduction by the GB executives, that is those of us from the dietetic group. And then we'll try to let members understand the purpose of this afternoon meeting. And then, of course, we'll have a forum where we want to hear you, we want you to share with us what you want us, what you think we are doing right, what you think we should continue doing, what you think we should stop doing and start doing. So at the open forum, we want to hear everybody's voice, please. And then we'll try our best as executives to clarify the issues that are of importance to us as a profession. And then the whole house, again, will all of us come out with a workable plan of action that is going to push us to a different level. And then we can conclude and see the keynotes, take homes. And of course, we cannot live here without our AOBs. So at this point, I would like to warmly welcome all on board. And as you can see this beautiful picture there, different colors, different shapes. We are unique in our own ways, and we all have different views, and we have different contributions to promote the growth of dietetics in Ghana. So all views are welcome on board, and we are all here to put our heads together. Together, we'll be able to find solutions to the issues that is affecting, and together we'll be able to harness the actions that we've taken so far that will promote the growth of our profession. So on this note, you are warmly welcome, all RDs on board. The current executives, please can you hear me?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Osofo. So currently, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, we are made up of 9 executives, and that is the governing board. We have our president, who is Prof. Kingsley. We have the vice president, who is a nutritionist, of course, and he is with the School of Medicine, Cape Coast, University of Cape Coast. We have our vice president, who is R.D. Delali Agodo. And we have our own Mr. Daniel Mensah, who is also the chair for the Academy Foundation. Mr. Prince Bedu, our Osofo in the house. He is the chairman for Practice Standards and Accreditation Committee. Our own, the last 2 names you see, Nana and Mrs. Nana Ananeji and Portia, Mrs. Portia Kumsa Riverson, they are also part, but they are on leave for few reasons, but they still add their voice to whatever needs to be done. And then your own Hajia Hamdaratu Dauda, the dietetic chair. The erstwhile Ghana Academy of Ghana Dietetics Association, when you look at this, the executives that is here, we were the erstwhile GDA, but the Gand, we had to add the extra, those who actually handed over to us, because we needed more hands on board because of the structure due to our constitution. And when you look at the composition of the governing board, majority of the executives is made up of RDs, dietitians. And so the decisions and workload, actually, most of these things, we are all on board. But when you look at it, majority of the executive board is made up of dietitians. And you know, we are there for the good of our profession. We are all dietitians. If we run it down, we are running it down against our own selves. So at this point, I would like us to move to the open forum. We are done with the introduction. We want to move to the open forum, where we can have your views are welcome. There's no view that is little or that will be under. So please, at this point, I would like to pause here and welcome the house on board. We want to hear what you have for us, and then we can pick it up from there. Thank you very much. Over, Osofo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adia. So House, the chair has set in motion the discussion. So I think what it is that maybe these interactions should have been regular, but for a long while, we have been doing it once a year when we meet together at Dietetic Caucus as one of our CPDs. So if there are anything concerning our profession, concerning Gand, concerning what we are doing, anything that we have, and suggestions. So suggestions, criticisms, inquiries, you are free. Please raise your hand, and the chair will give you the permission to speak. And please, let's all of us feel free. Let's speak our minds and our hearts out, all for the betterment of our great profession. So the floor is open as the chair rightly has put it. Thank you very much. So if you see your hand up, then you'll be called to speak.
Hello, Julius. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you.
The floor is open, please.
So, my name is Julius. I'm a dietitian with the University of Ghana Medical Center. Mine is more of a suggestion. I have come to realize that, there's an increase in the number of schools that are offering the dietetics program now. And depending on where you find yourself, you are likely to, make adjustments or try to practice dietetics to the best of your understanding and knowledge. But there are isolated moments, or there are moments where you meet clients who have seen dietitians elsewhere, and some of the things they are told to do are so absurd, like you cannot find any scientific explanation for them. So I'm wondering, is it possible for Gand to maybe facilitate some kind of peer review or some kind of, inter-institutional learning where probably dietitians from UGMC can learn from Kolebu or Komfanoche? Can we have something like this so that at least there'll be some harmonized form of professional, conversation when it comes to some of the things we taught our clients? Thank you.
Thank you, Julius. Well noted.
Osama Prince. Yes, sir. Osama,
Yes, sir. Yes.
are you in the position to type out what the comments that come up there in the open forum onto the PowerPoint template directly? Is that possible, sir?
It's possible.
Yes.
We want to share this information, these slides to every member, in addition to the recordings, so that we will all be on the same page. We have a reference point after this meeting, in my view. Over, sir.
Okay, we'll try.
Can we type? Also, will you type from your end? Because if I'm going to do it from here, it might interfere. Or
Okay, but your plenty AD comes. Let one of them do it for us.
my AD comes.
Yes. But I'm doing it here. If you can get so that we can capture everything, let another person also be writing.
So she is writing. She's writing it out.
Okay, I'm also typing it here.
All right, so she's writing it down.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
I see that some comments are in the chat as well. Colleagues, this is an open forum. We want to listen to the concerns on the field, the concerns of the profession or from the practice. We are also practitioners, yes, but we also understand that we cannot be in every sphere and case in Ghana. So let's share your concerns with us, and then we will see if we can find solutions to them together. This is a safe space. There's nothing we are going to say or do here that I don't expect anybody to be vilified or antagonized post this meeting because you shared your views. We really want to hold this as a family conversation. So please share your thoughts with us. If you are not comfortable to talk, put it in the chat. We will take note of it. Thank you.
Hello, Arditina.
Hello, please. How do you?
Hello, Arditina.
Yeah, hello, RD Hamda.
Yes, you're most welcome, and we
Thank
are
you.
glad to have you here.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm also happy that you've organized this meeting for all of us. I've had a few concerns concerning Gand. First, I have to say that I do appreciate the hard work the executives put in the running of the association. Yeah, it's not academy. Sorry, it's not an easy thing to be a leader. And then when we pass comments or we bring things up, it's not because we are saying executives are not doing anything. It's just perhaps maybe wanting to add our small opinion to see if it will make any difference or relevance, or if it is not really, then we know that at least we are all putting it together for things to work. So that's why I make comments, not because I do not appreciate the executives. I really know it's not an easy thing to be a leader. They say uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. So if you are behind, things may appear easy for you to comment about, but if you are facing the music, the dance may be different. So what I want to say is that, like, I have a few things to say. I'm sorry, but I'll be very brief. A few things to say. So my first observation is that it seems or appears, so I'm using the word appears for executives to understand what I'm trying to say, that it appears executives are doing a lot of things, but a lot of things that the executives are doing, members are not aware. So it's like perhaps executives are having their own board meetings, committees that have been set up are doing so and so and so and so, but then members are not aware most of the time. So periodically, it's not like me, for one, I don't know why these things come to meet me. It's not like I go around saying, do you have any information about Gand? Do you have information about Gand? People I don't even know will come and tell me, so I hear your people are doing this. What is this about? And I'll be like, I don't know anything about this thing. You understand? In my head. Then I'll bring it up for meeting, and it will be like I'm trying to incite or I'm trying to pull people down, but I just don't know. And sometimes I try to talk to people behind, but then I think I'm tagged with being difficult. So even the people I'm talking to behind, the kind of reception I get, it makes me like sit back, and then later on it comes up, people are talking about it, then I bring it up, and it's not like I'm intentionally doing it to hurt Gand. No, we all want the group to be better, okay? So I think it will really help executives. I know that executives have been put there to make decisions for us, and we respect their authority, and we respect the fact that they are you are competent enough to make the decisions that you have been put there to make. You understand? But it won't hurt if something major has been given to executives to decide on. You will set your committees and everything, but you can let members know that this is what is happening. This is the thing we have been asked to talk about. What are your opinion? If you have any opinion, direct it to this person. The committee will be going to sit. Your opinions matter. We'll talk about it. Then at least we'll know that something is happening. If somebody calls you on the side and say, "Are you aware people are merging?" and you don't know anything about it, becomes like, no, people are taking decisions for us. We just want to know. So I think that's the one thing. The other thing too will be that it will help if we have some of these like meetings. I know at CPDs, as I said, once a year we have our dietetic forum as part of the annual thing. But those programs are long programs, and sometimes these dietetic forums things, by the time it's up, you are working or other things, and we are not able to really give an input, or sometimes you even miss a meeting. But then if we have our own scheduled dietetic time, like the way we used to do, where people can bring small concerns they have to the attention of the leadership, that it will not appear as if you are difficult, or you are the only one who thinks you have an opinion, or you already have a position. Sometimes when I start to talk, they say, I know your position on this topic, when I've not even said the topic, you understand? So we should be able to have these meetings on a regular, even if it's quarterly or something like that. It will help for us to have meetings or twice yearly to discuss some of these things. Okay, my major concern has to do with training, and then the credentialing thing that came up. And I've seen the document that came yesterday. I tried to read it yesterday, but I really couldn't. I'm not saying I know everything on that sheet, okay? But my concern has been the fact that, I'm sorry that I'm talking plenty. Nobody was raising their hand, so please permit me to finish. Try to say what I want to say. I beg you. I already have that. Okay, so my thoughts about thank you. So my thoughts about that, the merging. Okay, let me put them one by one. So the first one, what was put there yesterday? Thank you. It's a very nice document. It's a very good idea to want to bring people like comparable to the other allied health professions, like the lab, and then and what I mean, those ones, to have the doctor of dietetics, the CCA thing, that is fine. But I still feel that is still dietetics. In other countries, I know they have the RDN thing, but whilst they are training RDNs, they are still training nutritionists. We still churning out people. They are still churning out people with BSc nutrition. They are still churning out people with MSc nutrition. And then we have the nutrition dietetics. We have the human nutrition dietetics. We have dietetics alone being run by all the institutions. See, the idea of the RDN is to produce clinical nutrition professionals who are competent all round to run all the types of clinical specialty thing that they will break into all their specialty. That is fine. But that shouldn't take away a nutrition professional whose work will be to do some in their community and all those things. So my concern is that we do not see it like everybody should be RDN. Every nutrition professional in Ghana should be RDN. I think that's maybe a flaw on our side. The other thing too is that we have to consider for training, whether or not we think typical academic training, like getting the doctor or dietetics things, is really the way to go. I know some places like in Europe and even in the UK, they are now training people through apprenticeship, because they've seen that the true important thing is not helping people. But when people rise through the ranks and get the kind of qualification with practical experience, they do better. So they have instituted things where through apprenticeships, if you do level 3, you are band 5. You do level maybe 4. I'm just saying level 4 apprenticeship. Second level, you are a band 6. If you do up to 7 and 8 level, so you are an apprentice. You could be a nutrition professional with a diploma, or you could they even pick high school, secondary school leavers. You could have done a few GCEs, you have not even completed. You do some apprenticeship, it will be equivalent to you have completed GCEs, whatever. You could do another level, then you'll be equivalent to diploma in dietetics. You do another level of apprenticeship, you are now a BSc dietitian. We could do those things. I'm saying that I don't see why we think everybody should be doctor of dietetics. We need middle people. We need middle people who will also upgrade, and as they upgrade, other people are becoming middle people and filling the gaps. Because if we are all doctors or dietitians in the system, I mean, I saw the graduations that we saw. We have we saw for the dietitian, the nutritionist, the nursing, and now they have consultant. I mean, if everybody is a consultant, is that the way forward? Or we are maintaining these things, and these RDNs will also fill a special gap in the is a cadre or whatever we say. You understand? That's what I'm trying to. So I think we should consider all this. So the idea of sharing ideas is that when you people went to sit in this meeting, I mean, when the honorable executive went to sit in this meeting to discuss this thing, okay, we could have had an ear about this thing is happening. People could have forwarded ideas from other countries they also know from to the committee members, so the decisions that are made for all of us will not be based on South Africa and Canada and the USA, but we'll get what is actually happening in the world. You understand? So that we develop professionals that will be relevant in the future. Because this stay in the school a long time, we know Ghana education, mainly chew and pour, may not be the way to go for our people. Perhaps we can also consider this apprenticeship thing. We have nutrition professionals who want to be dietitians or who are being called dietitians or practicing dietetics and not actually giving the feedback, the kind of maybe education patients should need. Or they are not even nutritionists. There are people calling themselves nutritionists and giving information that they shouldn't. These people are interested in dietetics. How can we train them? Are we going to say everybody should do 6-year dietetics? Or what if my parents can't afford 6-year dietetics degree and I can do a 4-year degree, work a little, do 2 years top up, and become doctor of dietetics if I want. You understand? So those are the things I think we are not saying you are not doing enough. I am not saying you're not doing enough, but I'm saying that I think from the ordinary member, I'm not seeing enough partnership. I think I'll end here. Maybe somebody wants to say something important. Then afterwards, if I remember my thoughts, I'll bring. If there's more time, I can talk again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, RD Tina. Your thoughts and the suggestions are well noted. And as we go through the meeting, when we get there, we'll be able to address some of these ones that you have brought up. RD Collins' hand is up. RD Collins, please unmute yourself. The floor is open, please.
Yes, good day to everyone once again, and then to our honorable executives. I decided to speak early because I'm having unstable internet at my end, so I'm worried if I should delay, maybe I may not have the opportunity to be heard. So just a bit of, should I say I would want to use the word clarification to what our senior audit have tabled. One, I want to say that I have been part of the executive before at the inception of Gand. I want to emphasize. So I decided to speak so that if a member of the current executive speak, it will be like they are being defensive. So I am not part, but I just want to share some insights and experiences. Now, as an executive of Gand, it's not a paid position. it's a sacrificial or voluntary service that members are offering to support all of us. I remember when I was part of the interim board, I had to be driving from Kumasi to Accra and back and forth, and pay my fuel, sometimes even pay for my guest house, all from my out of pockets. So, and in addition to this, of course, there are other responsibilities that executive have to also fulfill. So this is unlike other professional bodies who are well established, well grounded, and they have the financial muscle to even have the executive take sabbatical, full-time sabbatical, and then fully commit to the cause of their professional association. We are still sitting in Ghana. So lapses like the lapse in communication may happen. So I just want to plead with members to bear with the executive on that front, because I have experienced that on that front. While saying that, of course, we would also want to urge the executive of this feedback that are coming on board. It shows the burning concern or issues with membership. So let's also try as much as we can accommodate to also enhance the communication channel. And then the second thing I want to highlight, and then maybe touch on before I pause, has to do with the training. Tina rightly mentioned that she has not been able to go through the entire document. So I am privy to the nutrition and diet, the new program, the harmonized program. In fact, there will be opportunity for people who could not start the 6-year program from scratch to also join. For instance, what I mean is that if someone did BSc nutrition or any nutrition related program and also want to enroll on the Doctor of Nutrition Dietetics program, there will still be the opportunity to enter at a certain point. So it's not as if it is shutting out other people who may be interested in nutrition. In fact, all existing programs, if we have the chance to go through the document, all existing nutrition programs will still be running, and they will still be producing their nutrition graduate, nutrition and food science graduates. And after the program, they are 4-year, if they are interested in moving into the clinical area, they will have opportunity to join a certain point, maybe at 4th year, 3rd year, 4th year, 5th year. That's something that will be fine-tuned later on. So that opportunity will still be there. So I'll mention that the Doctor of Nutrition that is the dietetics program. So if it's dietetics program and nutrition is there, I don't think that we should be worried. So I think there's rather good news. The good news is that whoever will work in the clinic, in the hospital setting, will have the dietetics training in addition to the nutrition. So I think that this will help address and resolve the challenges and the problems we have all been concerned about, especially the issue of unqualified people practicing nutrition and dietetics in the hospital setting. And Julius, how did Julius mention the first comment person who spoke, that he's concerned that even dietitians, or he's meeting clients who are reporting to him that he have met dietitians, and the kind of counseling they are giving him is not up to standard. So now the conversation now is even beyond nutrition dietetics. Now it's about standardizing and making sure that everyone who will practice in the clinical space will have the requisite skills and competence that will be needed to meet that demand. And I think that is why we should be happy about this new program. So it's not about training dietitians and nutrition. No, it's about training everyone who will be interested in clinical practice to have the needed competence. And I think that, and I'll be advocating for that on the page as well, that I think if we channel our energies and efforts in that, in the near future, the agitations about who should practice what and who should do what, and I think it's all boiled down to qualification. I think that would be resolved. So I want to pause here for others to also contribute. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, R.D. Collins. I just want to add because I wanted us to get there, but since RD Collins has touched that part, RD Tina, I just want to add that the middle level manpower will also not be scrapped out, where we have our dietetic technicians, they will still be there. Where we have nutrition technicians, they will still be there. All the diploma training institutions, they will still be there. So we will still have from the lower to the middle level manpower, and that will complement, that is going to make the profession a complete thing. Otherwise, if you have only at the top, the high hierarchy, then it means that we will not be able to have a solid professional balance. So the other lower and middle part, all those trainings will still be intact. Thank you. Please, the floor okay. RD Franklin, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Well, I'm new in the professional scene. I completed not long ago, but I've have some observations I've made pertaining to what RD and Steiner and then RD Collins were saying. That had to do with the RD Everman. Has to say concerning the issue of the way people practice. Yes, it's true. And when I was in school, what we know is that if there is no dietitian in some hospitals, we are not supposed to go there for our practicum or clinical rotations. So we are being forced to go to where we have dietitians. So what I'm trying to say is that there are people who are dietitians in a way, but at the end of the day, when we take a look at the people who attend meetings, I mean, when it comes to CPDs, there are few. I want to believe that my badge alone that wrote licensure, we are over 100 to my knowledge. But when it comes to CPD, you get to realize that there are only few people who attend CPDs. The issue is that we have to take a look at how people are trying to, or how people are having trainings as compared to what they are learning from other places, or what they are doing from their own mind, if I will put it that way. Yes. So we should also take a look at the training aspect very, very well, especially the CPD. CPDs are to make sure that we are developing what we need to know. Yeah. Thank you.
RD Franklin. We have our own RD Nanakofi. Please unmute yourself, and then I'll come to Asmao. Please unmute yourself, Nana Kofi. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you very much, Hamda. I want to appreciate the leadership for the hard work that they are doing. Like Colin said, it's very obvious that it's very sacrificial and it's a very tedious task. And I've been confronted with the daunting task that lies on the tables of the leaders. But I want to also make a few observations. And it is to the fact that, like Tina said, the touching base with the group seems a bit lackluster. In my mind, it may be perceived, but that is what I see. And so I want to also plead that, I mean, there are some decisions that can be taken by our representatives freely, but for major decisions, it's good to touch base with the membership to get their views across, because really the leaders are not representing themselves or their ideas. Howbeit competent, they are not just representing themselves, they're representing the views of the general association. So for any major decision, it is good to touch base. When you see UTAG operates or GMA operates, any major decision that UTAG makes, they will come and discuss from all the chapters, and then they will take consensus. If the group says they are not in favor of this action, the leaders carry the views. If they think otherwise, they try to make their case for it. So I think we also have to strengthen the carry along aspect of our work. Again, I'm thinking that, the composition of Gand in itself seems, in my mind, very heavy on dietitians. And my hearing and observation is that the nutrition block is not really those on the ground practicing, and it is more skewed towards academia. I may be wrong, I stand to be corrected, but that's my gleaning and my observation. Then it will be a sort of an aberration if the practitioners of nutrition are not heavily engaged in the Gand agenda. And I hear that there are other groups that are forming, that are existing on the nutrition block, which is very large and are not captured by the Gand thing. So it is something that brings a challenge, because the practitioners are not in the Gand. The nutrition practitioners are not in Gand to contribute to shaping policy and actions. If we have people more in academia and just a few practitioners of nutrition speaking for nutrition, then it brings a little aberration, which can be challenging. I mean, I know that association is freedom, or academy is freedom of association, so they can decide to or not to. But then when views are coming across and it is representing just a block of the total group, then it must be considered carefully and must be taken in perspective because of where it is coming from. Again, I think that the RDN thing, we must tread cautious, be it that it is good, it's very good, but we must tread cautiously because it has the possibility of bringing down, possibly extincting the streams of other nutrition courses. That is my personal view, because the interest in dietetics is going high. And so everybody, I mean, if you look at the enrollment from many places, what I am observing is that many more are shifting towards dietetics. So it will get to a time when the people who want to do nutrition, now they know that you can do nutrition and do dietetics. So you have a large stream moving to the RDN block, and then the pure nutrition will be pushed aside. There's a tendency, and so we must bring up strategies that will also make, because we need those people. The public health aspect of nutrition is needed, and so we must see how we can get it done. I know that it is possible that the RDN person can do that as well, but the nuances may be challenging. There's a little confusion in my mind as to that. I also think that, I've been saying from the get-go that the dissolution of GDA to be subsumed by Gand is not one that sits too well with me. I believe that the higher agenda of Gand can be had with the dietetics group functioning and active, so that we can also identify the peculiarities that are in our group and seek to do the things that we want to do. So these are the few comments that I have. But I think that a job that Gand is doing is great, and we must all support it to go for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nana Kofi. All suggestions are well noted. Thank you once again. Asmao Mohammed, kindly unmute yourself. The floor is yours, please.
Good afternoon to you all. And then to our honorable executives, keep up doing the good work. Allah bless you. And so earlier concerns and contributions by my other senior colleagues is very key in the development of our noble profession. But I have just noticed one problem that is emerging. And maybe I don't know whether a few people have also observed that. I've just observed that lately, just after promotion, professionals' rank is being changed. So for instance, if someone is a nutrition officer, then the person goes to next promotion, senior nutrition officer. Instead of the senior nutrition officer, the person's rank is being changed to dietetics, just because maybe the person has done nutrition dietetics, but the person has not, doesn't have license for dietetics. I have observed that. Then personally, some people have done, yes, they nutrition, then they've done dietetics, but per their work, they still want to be practicing where they are working, practicing the nutrition. So in that case, they wouldn't like to convert even after promotion. But a promotion letter will come. You see that naturally the person has been converted. So I just wanted to find, I don't know whether Gand is aware of this or it's an oversight. It's something that I've been worried about lately. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Asmao. Well noted. Rosa, howdy, Rosa. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you very much. And I want to commend the expert committee for a good job. I looked critically at the harmonized curriculum that will be coming from, or that is from ECOWAS. And I think it has detailed outline. If probably that is what we are going to use, it means we will come out with professionals who are all round. And so it's a good thing. I want to commend the expert committee on that. But I have a question. How will the six-year, how do we even put it? This 6-year program, how would it transfer, or how would it move into acquisition of job? How would it help the new professionals who would come out get jobs? It looks like that aspect has been underlooked by Gand. There are so many people who have been enrolled or who have completed the universities and they are still not employed. They are struggling with the current dietitians, overlooking placements. Dietitians who have 2 or 3 hospitals. The new ones are struggling. And because of that, the new ones will have to make ends meet at all costs. So you end up getting dietitians doing things that is against dietetic practice. Some of them will try to go into, agreeing with certain food supplements that ideally they wouldn't do it because they don't have money. I think we could also look at the job side. When they come out after the 6-year program, what will happen to them? because we will get people coming out and it's still going to pile up. So I think Gand can look at that as well. Thank you.
Adi Rosa, thank you very much. Contributions and suggestions are well noted. Adi Frederica, please unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, senior colleagues, and then to our honorable executives. I'd like to commend you for the good work that you are doing, and we appreciate you all. I didn't want to speak because I'm not feeling well, but following the conversations, I also want to say something. I want to add to what R.D. Rosa said. Per the ongoing discussions from when we started this meeting, it looks like, and I mean, before even this, it looks like all the dietetic trainings are geared towards the clinic. And there are a lot of dietitians who have completed school and they do not have jobs. My concern is the job placement. And even after they have completed, the job placement is how well you are able to exhibit your dietetic knowledge. Another concern is the training. Now, there are other institutions training dietitians. These interns or students come to our facilities to be trained. And then you realize that, especially the intern during national service, you realize that there's a lot of gap. I will plead on our committee to look at the training very well. And then also, so you realize that you meet a lot of dietitians, just as R.D. Julius said, we are not on the same page. We are not on the same page. And then, because most of us have been trained for the clinical purpose, where there are other areas, there are so many areas that dietitians can work, but because our training and everything has been geared towards the clinics are choked and they're not finding work. Recently, I did an interview for a company who wanted a dietitian with a culinary skills. A lot of people applied. The interview that I did, you realize that those who have been given license as dietitian, they don't even know it. So how well is the training done? It's like they are producing half-baked dietitians who are in the systems and are also practicing. So I would plead that we look at the training and we look at diversifying what dietitians could do. I finished dietetics in 2017. I sat home for 4 years before having a regular job. All those times I was working. What earned me my work is my culinary skills. Putting the other aspect of dietetics into practice. So if we are looking at the clinics only, it might not help the next generation. It might not help those who are in school because the clinics are choked. So we have to diversify dietetics into food service, food processing, even the health shops, like the pharmacist. Every pharmacy in Ghana here has a resident pharmacist. Now there are springs of health shops around. And then healthy food restaurants. All these places must have dietitians there. So please, let's look at the training and then how to get them jobs. How to get them jobs. That is also my plea. Because in as much as possible that we want to train doctor of this, that, when they finish, where is their job? There is no job. They even come, you want to pick them. We want to work with them. I've been looking for people to train for culinary. I'm not getting. They come and they are not able to do it and they leave. So it is something that is worrying. So that is my humble suggestion. Let's look at diversifying the program and then the training, please. Thank you.
Thank you, RD Frederica. All suggestions are well noted. RD Tina, is it an old and?
Oh, please, it's a new hand.
Okay.
As I said, I wanted to cut so that I give opportunity for people to talk. So if there's more time, I can say something. So this part is about the training again, the clinical training. I think if it's possible for Gand to step in so that all the training institutions have a common curriculum, especially for the clinical internship, so that what the knowledge being imparted will be similar. And also in terms of the curriculum itself, if you could assess what everybody is doing, maybe there may be some specific things that all universities should run, so that it will be, everybody will be on the same level. Because I've spoken to some people who have indicated that some courses some universities have done, they didn't do. So if they didn't do it at all, how did they graduate? You understand? So Gand should have a way of being part of maybe a Gand person. I don't know, maybe it is there, but if it is not, somebody should be part of the accreditation system where we ensure that when it comes to dietetics, all the universities are running the same program. And, with the practical, the way the allied health, the internship has one program throughout for all of them with their booklet. The same way, perhaps the clinical rotations should be one unique thing that everybody goes through. And then we should also get training. Those who are facilitating precepting should be given common training so that we know what is expected and what knowledge to impact. I think if that is done, then everybody, we expect that graduates who are coming out to be the same. Then the other thing is our dietetic manual. So I think the last time I heard about that one, we were supposed to be doing something about the dietetic manual. And then Gand came, and I understand Gand is doing something about the dietetic manual. But like I have heard, I don't know if it is true, but I mean, it's been a long time that we had a universal manual that is Ghana manual that we can all rely. For a long time, we have been using Eat Right and we've been using BDA dietetic manual, but we had our own, and I think it's not bad. It only needs an update. So I think as we're having this forum, the dietetic wing of Gand could also look at how we could get people's opinion and ideas in updating the manual so that we have something like that. I also know that if we those of us who use the Pen Nutrition and those of us who are using the NDR diet sheets, we could have diet sheets that are Ghana specific, that perhaps Gand or individuals could sit together and do, that can be acceptable to be something that those who are having, it's not that you have a challenge. In places where they are there, it helps to make the work easy. So we could do diet, not like, I'm not saying like one size fits all, but the general intro to every condition in terms of diet, what should be done. And then you tailor it to patient specific. Then we could have that also as part of the manual, and that can help. So that's what I want to bring Gand's attention to. Thank you very much.
Aldi and Estina, thank you so much. Very insightful contributions and then suggestions. Well noted, please. Give me other hand. Yes, Nana Kofi is back. Nana Kofi.
Yeah, Auntie Amda.
Yes, please. Please unmute
Yes,
yourself.
I sent a message in the chat, but it
Yes,
looks like
yes, we have seen it in the chat box. Yes, please.
I was hoping that you take us through the document because it
Because
will help us.
time factor.
Oh, just a summary of it will be good because see the thing is very voluminous and it's not easy to read everything.
I will
Again,
speak. I will speak to it.
All right.
okay, okay.
When we get to the
I was also going to say that with regards to the job thing, at least for the clinic, the HEFRA is open to a discussion from Gand or from Dietetics as to regulating the offices, the hospitals, to get to a level where there will be an insistence of a dietitian in every hospital, major hospital, so that if GAN goes to engage EFRA, just like you can't operate or you need a lab person or you need a nurse or you need a doctor for every hospital to function, major district hospitals, regional hospitals will act as a matter of insistence, get a dietitian on board. And so that engagement, and I spoke to the former boss of HEFRA, and I was saying that they are open to receive that communication and sit and then see how we can regularize, because that will increase the inflow of dietitians, because people will not have the luxury of deciding not to take one. And that can increase the inflow for the private and then the public sector. But it is true that diversification is important in the engagement of dietitians. Somebody mentioned dietitians engaging in other things, and she thought that doing supplements and other things is another stream of engagement. It's nothing bad to deal with supplements if you do it in the right way, and it can be a source of employment for somebody. Media work can be a source of employment for somebody. Writing can be a source of employment for somebody. All these things are avenues that people can work, so that we don't only think about the hospital in engaging us as well. Even if there are clearances, and I know dietitians who said they don't want to work in the clinic. It's because they feel that being on their own and working and doing their personal management of cases and doing all the other things, doing talks and engaging in writing and media work and selling books and doing supplement work and all that can earn them enough, even more than they will get in the clinic. So it's a matter of reorienting our minds and also streamlining the doing of certain things so that we can get more streams of employment and of engagement for our people. Thank you. But some of the things need responses. Some of the statements that we are making, would appreciate if we got responses from our leaders.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, RD Nana Kofi. You will definitely get some responses to some of these.
Maybe we can take the last two comments.
Please.
In the interest of time, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Adi Maxwell. I think let's have Adi Maxwell and then we can continue. If Adi Maxwell, please unmute yourself. The floor is yours, please.
Yeah, yes. So thank you so much for this important meeting. My issue has to do with the fact that there's currently an increasing role confusion between a dietitian and a nutritionist. And I've heard other colleagues, especially young dietitians, who have been posted to certain facilities and they met a nutritionist and it became a whole kind of raffle between the two of them simply because of role confusion. With the Gand agenda, we all know that the definitions of dietetics and nutrition practice are well spelled out in the Allied Health Council. So I want to know what steps Gand can take to solve this problem, because it appears that the people who are supposed to be part of Gand, who are at the clinic, are not part, and so they try to do other roles that they are not supposed to do, and this is not helping us if we want to have the agenda moving forward. And the next thing I want to touch on is the issue of the 6-year program. For me, where I stand, I believe that it will inure to our benefits because almost all allied health professions are going 6 years, and medical laboratory science have already taken the lead. Now, if we take a decision not to go with this 6-year program, we will have a situation later we'll be left behind time. And that will cost us a lot, because I believe that this 6-year program can help increase our salaries, even though the issue of employment issues is still something we need to look at. But I think that whilst we are trying to diversify, I think we should try as much as possible to go with what other allied health professionals are deciding to do. And I know physiotherapists are also far advanced in this discussion. And if we only decide to take a U-turn, then it's going to cost us on a long term, because we'll be left behind among all other allied health professionals who are gradually shifting to the 6-year program. So those are some few concerns that I have on board. Thank you.
Thank you, RD Maxwell. Let's have RD Collins, then we can put a hold to the open forum and then respond to some of the questions and then suggestions, please.
Hello, Ardi.
Yes, RD, please.
Hello, Ardi. Yeah,
You can go ahead. We can hear
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity once again. Very quickly, I have very unstable internet. Very quickly, in relation to what Ardi Maswell just mentioned, I think that sorry, we should put in every effort within our means to rope in our colleagues, nutritionists who are in the clinic sector, who have not joined Gand yet. Because now, the impression or the picture that is becoming clear is that because they are not part of Gand, certain conversations that have been going on, they are probably not privy to it or they are not aware. So probably that's why we are hearing and also seeing the kind of scenario that Aldi Maxwell painted. And I must say that I've also seen such instances play out. So I want to implore leadership that we should put aside whatever, if they are being stubborn, let's play the fatherly and the motherly role and try to bring them in. If they are being stubborn, let's also not go on the hard way, because it appears as if they are not bringing their members on board and they are still doing what they feel they want to do. And whatever conversation between about nutrition and diet that is going on, they are not part of it. And so we are still experiencing these problems. And again, the last one has to do with the 6-year program. I think the questions and comments coming on this, I would want to suggest that may be a big action on the part of the leadership, but the leadership of the nutrition and the dietetic group and the team, if possible, to organize a short forum like this just on the 6-year program to be able to expound all the issues and the details for members, and then also taking their concerns or their questions that they may ask. But it appears there are questions, even though the document has been posted on the page, but questions are still coming up. So if we could have a short forum at another time where the topic on the program can be discussed, and then we can all be clear in our minds. Thank you.
Thank you very much, RD Collins. At this point, I think we spent more than an hour now. So we want to go back into the agenda, and then we'll look at whilst we go through the other items on the agenda, we'll try to address some of the concerns that have come up. So at this point, I'll call upon RD Percival Agodo Delali, the Vice President of Gand, to take us through a few. So we'll start with the journey so far. RD Percival Delali.
Yes, RD Hamda.
Yes, please, over.
Yes, thank you very much. I thank you for the opportunity. I must say that I am particularly excited with the depth of contributions that have come from across the congregation today. I mean, or maybe the better word is from the house today. And rather than go straight to my presentation, I would want us to let's go back to those comments that have been raised. Some of them are actually direct. In my view, the answers may be direct, and others we may just have to speak to forward them. I mean, or table them later for conversations. So if you don't mind, I don't know who is sharing the screen right now. Who is this? Yes, Auntie Ham. The points that were raised. Are you able to go back to that slide, please? Yes, no, you have to go to the open forum. I think that we should respond directly to some of the comments before we update what has been done. Let's start from the very last ones. Those are fresh in our minds. So the suggestion to have a distinct forum for the 6-year conversation is well noted. In fact, it's as part of the conversation so far in the preparations for the African Nutrition Conference, which is being hosted on behalf of the African Nutrition Society by the Ghana Academy of Nutrition Dietetics in Cape Coast. There is a strong suggestion to hold a special session on training and the 6-year program, or the proposed 6-year program is one of the conversations that is going to be had. So yes, we have conversations on how to make this an open discussion for members, and not just amongst ourselves. We actually been opening this discussion up to the international community, to the continental at the continental stage. I'm glad Dr. Frank Hayford is on the call. These discussions have come up, but we are going to frame those discussions, and I'm very certain that it's going to be one of the core. In fact, it's not just one event. At the upcoming ANEC, I'm aware that Professor Paul Nyama Ayi, who is the co-chair for the expert committee, has been tabled to speak to the document, or to the philosophy behind the document. So this is something that is going to happen at ANEC. But the suggestion to have these discussions prior to that, I think is welcome, and we would gladly consider it. Now, I see Dr. Hayford's hand is up. Is it to speak to the ANEC?
Yes, just to quickly, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Just to quickly add to what and to reiterate what you're saying. So there's going to actually be a whole plenary session on it. So it's really a very key, there's a whole track plenary sessions where stakeholders like WAHU, experienced professors who have been part of both training and practice elsewhere, best practices elsewhere, they would all be there. So yes, just to collaborate with what you corroborate what you just said. So thank you very much. Yeah,
I'm very grateful for that confirmation. And so, colleague Iris, just to also clarify that the expert committee's report is not a decision of, okay, let me say that carefully. It's a recommendation which has been prepared by a committee of experts, a committee of persons who are involved in training, persons who are involved in practice, persons who are involved in management, and some components of industry. And if I'm sure all of us have seen the document, and you can look at the team of the 17-member team. In addition to that 17-member team was also other persons in attendance who have diasporan experience in training and practice, who brought to bear their expertise on to shape the recommendation to adopt the 6-year program. So I just want to dispel I'm just getting my sense of, I'm sensing that there is a feeling that the 6-year program, or the discussions on the 6-year program, is skewed. And I want to just say that it is not exactly the case. However, the intention has always been to bring these documents to our attention as members, to seek your buy-in. And I like Nana Kofi's, Nana Kofi's phrase, phraseology. He uses the phrase, is it carry along, and there's another one he used that which doesn't come to my mind readily. So the idea is to carry the team along. It's not to impose it on us. Now, please come back to let's go back to that other page where the last open forum conversations. Okay, you want me to see the Adi Nana Kofi's words?
Yeah. Touching base.
Yes, touching base with the touching base with the team. And that is something that, yes, and carry along. I think those are things that, I mean, after reading the events of the last 2 weeks, I've come to that conclusion that we probably as a team have not done too well in that area. And so we take that as a positive criticism of what we ought to do, and we would ensure that we are going forward, this engagement become more frequent than it already is. And whilst I've said that, I just remembered one thing that RD and Estina said, which I want to provide an answer to. Some of these documents that we are sharing with you, or some of the decisions that the leadership takes, sometimes are forced. In fact, the time between notice of the request for a decision and the time that the deadline for providing feedback sometimes are less than 48 hours. In other cases, it's as late as 6 hours. And so sometimes it becomes extremely impossible to extensively do the broad consultations or the broader consultations as you would naturally want to do. But I agree, going forward, we would want I agree, we will try harder to ensure that we were able to capture all of these things in a newsletter, at least a quarterly newsletter. And that's a very practical way of doing these things. That can be shared by email to all members in good standing, so that you at least know what decisions you have taken. And then in these newsletters, you have a feedback mechanism, which you can always share your views with us, so that if we have to revise the positions we take as a leadership, we can do so. So that for me, that's a very good feedback. Now, the other thing about bringing nutritionists, the call to bring on board practicing nutritionists. In fact, to be honest with you, Gand has never at any point refused to allow practicing nutritionists to join us. What has rather happened is that the practicing nutritionists in the Ghana Health Service, through their leadership, have had the view that they and the rest of the leadership are witnesses to these conversations, that they don't feel organized enough within themselves. And so they would prefer to organize themselves first before they now join Gand as en bloc, as a group. And we've always held the view that we don't want to have multiple blocks of people. We just want to have the block of practitioners who are strictly dietitians and the block of practitioners who are strictly nutritionists. And we know that there are nuances between the two. There are dietitians who have done public health nutrition, and there are nutritionists who have gone on to do dietetics, and there are a lot of nuances. But for now, we want to keep the two blocks, dietetics group and nutrition group. And the conversation about why did we drop the GDA and not keep it up? Well, I think the discussion is an open one we all had. We felt, and I still hold that view, that yes, what we are doing with the Ghana Dietetic Association name is pretty much what the dietetic group is doing. It's just a nomenclature. But the function of the nomenclature is the way we socialize within and amongst ourselves. And that is what the dietetics group actually does for us. So the feedback, so whether or not the name is GDA or dietetics group, if we are able to maintain the fraternity that has worked for us in the past, which I think from the feedback we have heard so far has maybe waned over time, what I think we are going to have to do is to kickstart this up and ensure that fraternity and that congeniality continues to grow from grace to grace. And so that may probably be one of the ways to kick that up. Well, that is a view. I see Adnan Kofi say it's not exactly. Adnan Kofi, would you want to speak to that? I may be missing it. Anyway. Okay, now that's fine. Okay, so then the 6-year program, so we will deal with the 6-year program in time. Then concerns with our prevailing confusion between dietitians and nutritionists. I agree. Now, you see, we have a profession that is a two-in-one profession. We have the dietetics and nutrition. Now, as far back as 2008, and this thing I have said it severally, that the global community, particularly the International Labour Organization and the World Health Organization, that defines professions and classifies them. And this is a public document. You can just Google it, classification of health professions, and you come to that document. It was published in 2008, and there have been updates thereafter. That document defines a name, a professional name, or defines a name of the profession called dietitians and nutritionists. And that's how the profession has been captured globally as far back as 2008. In 2008, I was doing my national service. Now, so some way, somehow, in Ghana, we've always had nutrition alone training and dietetics alone training. Is there anything wrong with it? Absolutely not. Except that what it does is that it produces graduates who are nutritionists only and dietitians only. And the world, over time, even from the jurisdictions that we like to learn best practices from, the UK, the US, the South Africans, the Canadas, yes, they agree that they still have the nutritionists only, dietetics only, but they are also building Oh, okay. Actually, please Google it. Just Google International Classification of Health Professions. That's all you need to Google. 2008. Enestina, Auntie Enestina, Ari Enestina. So, International Classification of Health Professions, 2008, and you will see it. The professional code, if I'm not mistaken, is 3225. So each profession has a code. Now, so if internationally your profession is defined and given a nomenclature, but then locally we feel that no, we don't subscribe to the nomenclature, then the question we need to be answering is should you go back and redefine the professions in the global libraries? Now, not just that. Beyond the ILO document in 2008, which I've shared in the past, I can always Google it if I have the time. If I go back to Google now, let me see if I still have it. And the WHO, in fact, the WHO basically adopts the ILO definition. Then we have a group like the ICDA, which is the International Confederation of Dietetics Associations, which in 2014 begins to define itself and the profession and says that yes, we are dietitians primarily, but we want the nutrition that is the basis of our profession to be significantly visible in our nomenclature. And so the ICDA defined in 2014 the registered dietitian nutritionist, in other words, a way of maintaining the trends, and I'll go to that in a while. So that those trends are what we are looking at. So there's a trend towards considering having the profession defined as one. It's a two-in-one profession, I agree. But then the name of the profession is putting the two together as one, so that in the US, where most of our current affiliations, university affiliations, seem to be leaning towards, the dietitian or the registered dietitian nutritionist in the US is somebody in the US who is held as having ample clinical competence and equally relevant public health nutrition or community nutrition experience. So all these conversations would bring us to that point where the world is heading towards the RDN conversation or the RDN designation for the professional. Now, so what am I trying to say? I'm just trying to say in simple terms that the definition of our profession, beyond all, forget about all these international conversations. In our law, the Act 825, which sets the Allied Health Professions Councils up. In 2013, when it was promulgated, the law decided to adopt these international definitions. So on the one hand, we must keep in mind that what is legal may not necessarily agree with us. But once it is legal, then that becomes precedent over what we think or feel, except we are able to change the legal grounding on which that is defined. So I remember, in fact, I led the team to the Allied Health Council, and when I sat in that meeting, we were invited. And when we sat in that meeting, they told us, why should you have two different profession-specific committees, one for nutrition and one for dietetics? And then when we went into it, they were bringing up the definition of the profession by law. And the fact that the name is on one line and not two separate lines, even though we have two registers, was a basis on which they were going to collapse the two recommended lists we had submitted into one group. And fortunately, this was in 2020 thereabout. That was in early 2020. But so we had already inaugurated Gand before then. Otherwise, I can tell you without any equivocation in my heart that would have been a very embarrassing meeting, because the way they were speaking to all the other groups that had similar challenges was just disturbing. But again, we've moved past that. So the need for coming to Gand is something that for me, it's only prudent and it's only proactive rather than, and it's a necessity rather than a need, a want. That is what I want to say. I recall this one is up.
Yes, Audi. Please, can you hear me? I have unstable internet, so I need to confirm if
I
I'm
can hear
heard
you, sir.
clearly
Please go
before I
ahead.
can continue. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Sorry, Audi, I think the issue, what do you call it? There are some fundamental issue. I am of the opinion that members are not worried or concerned about these definitions. And I'm also a little bit surprised, should I say, surprised to hear that at the council level, they are at that stage, they are not aware of the situation in the country. For instance, in Ghana, we don't have a harmonized curriculum for training nutritionists and dietitians. Okay, until the recent development that was shared in the page, we don't have that. So why would the council now pretend that at that forum? Hello.
Sorry, I'm
yes.
sorry to cut you, but you see, this it is not just about the fact that there's a nutrition dietitian. This also has economic conversations. Because
yes, please, will you let me land, please? Sorry. So yes, thank you very much. So I think the focus is on the fact that, so while these definitions, maybe for purpose of classification, dietitians and nutritionists are put together, no problem. So I think that now the efforts should be channeled in making this a reality. The nutrition and dietetics classification, having a joint profession specific committee, whatever, no problem. But now, if that is the case, if that is the suggestion, the directive, the way to go, okay, then again, we should channel efforts in ensuring harmonized training in whatever capacity Gand can marshal. Why I'm saying that is that, so now I am trained as a dietitian, for example. If I don't have strong public health or other areas of nutrition, strong competencies in that area, and then I go to perform in that, there will be defects. If the defect is seen from people outside nutrition and dietetics, then it goes against the entire nutrition and dietetics fraternity, not just dietitians. Okay, so I am not looking at this angle from nutrition and the diet, about all of us. So I think that if that is the signal we are getting, that we are supposed to be classified as one, and that is the real situation, then we should channel efforts so that it is not seen, because the indication that is coming from some quarters is that Gand, and maybe to some extent from what you have, information you have relayed, maybe from Ally Health, are trying to make people nutritionists or confer nutrition and dietetic credentialing at the top level, ignoring the base. Okay, so someone goes to do public health nutrition, no strong clinical competency. So, and then are we now going to say they are nutritionists? So that's where I think clarification should come.
Okay, so
I'm not saying that you are wrong.
Maybe if you allow me to finish responding to the issues, perhaps you will get why we are where we are and what we have done about it, what we are doing about it. Because then what I'm saying is just going to come back again when I make further comments. If you don't mind, maybe I should just finish and explain the context, because that's what I was trying to do in responding to the queries I have made.
Okay, okay? Dela, go ahead. We will write our questions down.
Okay, all right. So then I will give you the benefit of the doubt, please. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Let's all of us write our questions down so we
no,
can.
So please, when we write our questions, please, I'm sorry for coming in, but I think RD Dela, so far things were going smoothly, but RD Dela is confusing us more. So I think that's why Collins is coming in. I mean, your explanation of the basis is making it worse. You understand? the idea that internationally, dietitians and nutritionists are coming together, it is flawed. Even in America, they have the American Nutrition Association and they have the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. Members of the American Nutrition Association are not members of the Academy for Nutrition and Dietetics. They are separate bodies. In the UK, they have the Nutrition Society and they have BDA, British Dietetics Association. They are separate bodies. You understand? The RDN concept is not a concept for nutritionists. It's a concept to improve dietetics, to increase the nutrition education, update the nutrition education in dietetics. So if you say because of RDN situation in America and ICD, blah, 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 you make all of us in nutrition professionals in Ghana as under one umbrella. When they brought it up, that, I have information from Allied Health that it wasn't their intention to put it together under one umbrella, like you just said. They are rather concerned that we want to put ourselves together under one umbrella because they feel we are not doing the same things. I mean, what we should be doing when you were told that you were putting us together was to insist that these are two professional bodies. It's like saying food science and nutrition is the same thing. It is not the same thing. The same way dietetics and nutrition is not the same thing. So if we want to enhance our dietetics and make it RDN, that is a good thing. We are improving dietetics, but that is not nutrition. And that should not wipe away clinical nutrition professionals from the system because we don't do the same thing. So I think Gand has to go back, review the international document you use as your basis for your argument. It was biased.
Hello, Tina.
Patrol, I'm addressing RD Della's message. You will shut me now. We'll never resolve this issue.
Oh,
Let me
Tina,
finish my point.
I'm not shutting you.
No, you always do that. Let me finish my point. I know you are the moderator and I give you the respect. I'm giving you the respect, but let me be able to express my thing and let me get my solution. Then this thing will go away. Otherwise, another time this thing will come up again. It's a forum. It is not a place where we put our points and go and sleep and later we'll get feedback. Otherwise, it's not a forum. Please, can I go on?
Tina, please go on.
Thank you, Adi and Hamda.
Please go on.
Thank you very much.
It's a forum. Please pour
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate this.
We want solutions. And
Thank you.
We want when you started, I just wanted us to finish before I come in. When you started, the way you bring in you bring in suggestions, you bring in the comments and all that, you've been tagged. You have not been tagged. It is something that is actually strengthening the system. So go ahead. Just go ahead, Peter.
Yes, please. And yes, please. And I'm sorry, ID Della, it's not to say your opinion or what you have done. I'm saying it is flawed. No, but I'm saying the basis, the argument, the basis for the argument is one-sided. So maybe I should say biased. It's one-sided. Okay. So I think that the fundamental that worldwide they are coming together is not true. Worldwide dietetics training, dietetics is being updated and they are including nutrition dietetics. But that is not taking away clinical nutrition associations or clinical
I never said
nutrition
bodies. You have never said so all afternoon.
We all have to come together because it is not the same profession. Nutrition is not the same as dietetics and it's not the same as food science. The differences are there to address specific global problems. So I think what we have to do is to strengthen nutrition in Ghana. You get it. We have to strengthen nutrition in Ghana. We are making it all clinical dietetics, and that is wrong. That is my point. I mean, at the allied health level, they were trying to separate the public health section from the dietetics section, and that is a good thing. We should have insisted, yes, we can have the public health nutrition aspect, and we should have the nutritionists who want to do clinical dietetic aspect, put us together, and that would be a good thing. But when we say it is No, it is not the same. So we move public nutrition from under public health and make it all clinical. That is flawed. And that is what you should go back, look at more international documentation, and then see how you can improve. Because I think nutrition in Ghana, we are trying to kill it. That's how I see it. All my passion is not like I have anything against nutritionists, but I see that there's a core in nutrition that we are ignoring, and we are only using dietetics eyes to make decisions for nutrition. And that is wrong. That is my concern. Thank you very much.
Aritina.
Yes, please.
I've heard you clearly. Can I ask you a question for clarification purposes?
Yes, please.
What is your understanding of the public health nutrition agenda from the Allied Health Professions Council? How do you understand their attempt?
The attempt to separate nutrition and dietetics?
Yes, please.
Okay. So I think they are saying that there's a lot of public health activities that nutrition professionals are already doing, that they will benefit from more overseeing if the public health body is kind of managing it. That doesn't take them away from Gand. That only means that they will be together with professionals that are working together on the same public health agenda, and it makes it easy for them to achieve public health goals. That is the idea. I understand they are not trying to move them from Gand. They will still be Gand. But then the overseeing body and the allied health will be the body that is addressing other public health issues so that they benefit more. They don't have to be put under clinical if they are not doing typical clinical things. That is the point. And the idea that Gand wrote a letter, I mean, Gand is making a statement that our training overlaps and our practice overlaps. Gand is very much aware currently our training is not overlapping and our work is not overlapping. That sets the wrong precedence where nutrition professionals who have not been trained adequately clinically would want to be practicing clinical nutrition and make our work difficult. You go and see a patient and somebody has told them something that is really something, and you can't say directly the person is wrong, and you are trying to correct it diplomatically, and then you become the person who doesn't know what you are about, and then the patient suffers in the end. The same way that I should not pretend to know a lot of public health nutrition and be doing things that I do not have enough information and be messing up the general public health agenda. That is what we should. So we should not, as dietitians try to dictate for another profession and kill it, because that is what will happen. We should be in our dietetics.
So RD and Estina.
Yes, please.
You've made copious references to the allied health professions' attempt to separate public health or nutrition, public health from dietetics.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I want you to read, if you can see the screen, if you don't mind, with all respect. This is exactly what the allied health is expecting, was asking of nutrition and dietetics, and not just of nutrition and public health in bold.
Which Please, one, the training proposal or the practice?
The B.
So training proposal, you want me to read training proposal?
Yes, please.
Okay, the expert committee was tasked to consider the feasibility and professional value in accepting the proposal from the Professional Practice Committee of the Board of the Allied Health Professions Council to merge 6 professions with significant public health components, namely nutrition, disease control, environmental health, health information, health promotion, and community mental health, to create a general practitioner in public health profession. Yes.
Please, how do you understand that?
So I understand
what is your view on that? They
are trying to merge people with public health competences under one profession, so that there will be people who will be able to provide the entire a public health agenda to meet the demands that are needed in Ghana. So if you're a nutritionist and you are doing public health things, and you are being grouped under public health, I mean, if you have adequate training, because those nutritionists in public health, they have adequate training in public health that we do not have. They will be happy to appreciate, get a holistic training, mental, everything, and be fine. And those who are not interested can come and do a top-up course and become dietitians. That is what we should be seeking for. We shouldn't say no. That group should be there to meet the purpose. You can't have all those people there without the nutrition competence doing public health. They will still be going into community to be giving nutrition education. So if we have nutritionists doing that, that is useful. And then those who are not interested in that kind of public health nutrition agenda can be given adequate training to upgrade into clinical dietetics. And then they can become RDN with us, and it is fine. But don't kill the nutrition component of public health and say no. We shouldn't make everybody dietitian. We need nutritionists.
I think you've made your point. I think you've made your point.
Thank you.
Any other thing, you will be repeating the point. You've made the point.
So you wanted me to explain what I meant. That's what it means. That let's keep it separate. There should be nutrition and the public health.
It's okay. No, hold on. You've expressed your view.
Hello, Aldi. Sorry,
you've expressed your view clearly.
Yes, and I've finished.
Hello, Vice P. I'm sorry I have to interject.
Please, sorry, no, you will not interject, please.
Make your own point.
Apologies. Please don't interject. Okay. So Adi and Estina.
Yes, please.
So I sat in the meeting. I wrote the minutes of that meeting. And I presented this to the governing board, which set up the expert committee to discuss the object of the public health nutrition conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. So trust me when I say that what I'm saying is verifiable. Now, in that meeting, the meeting was chaired by Honorable Dr. Amuzu. He's a medical laboratory scientist. And in that meeting, the bottom line in that meeting was this: that the council is faced with regulating special or allied public health as a body. And so there are institutions in Ghana that train public health into bracket nutrition and public health into bracket disease control.
Yeah.
Public health into bracket all the other ones that are listed in the bolded section you read. And then now they have, because it is specified into bracket nutrition, they have gone ahead to add graduates of that program to the nutrition register. And the same for all the other 5. But in recent time, even though pressure has come on the council to regulate a BPH program, which is a Bachelor of Public Health program.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, so that these graduates are first degree holders in public health general. They are not specified.
Okay.
And the Allied Health Professions Council is unable to place these generalists in any of the existing registers, which is a regulatory challenge. Now, if I cannot create a register for you, it means I cannot give you a license to practice. And if I create a register for you, it means that anybody else who chooses to practice the name of that register without having their name on that register cannot practice it. In other words, if the Allied Health Professions Council were to create a register called Public Health Register, they would license public health practitioners in Ghana. Therefore, effectively, anybody else whose name is not on that register of public health cannot practice public health in Ghana. And so their solution to this challenge, given the pressure from everywhere else that we know is possible in Ghana, is to look at those programs that already have public health attached to them and pull them together into a profession called public health. And then now mandate the graduates of that program to do a bit of each of these 6 professions. So in your training, you do a bit of nutrition, you do a bit of disease control, you do a bit of environmental health, a bit of health information, health promotion, and community mental health. So you are a jack of 6 professions.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get registered in a register called Public Health Register at the Allied Health Professions Council.
Okay.
Then when you are done that, you now decide that, okay, now me, I like nutrition, so I want to do nutrition. Or me, I like disease control, I want to do disease control. So that is the real conversation with the public health nutrition, with the allied health. Has that changed your view on that proposition?
And so I think that viewpoint is good. I mean, it's like the same way we are saying the nutrition professionals should get training and become fully dietetics. I mean, those who are interested in clinical nutrition, those of them who are interested in public health should get the other 5 to become a full public health person and decide what to do, specialty they want to do in their public health. But we shouldn't say we should move all of them into dietetics and that nutrition.
We have never moved them to dietetics, please, for the record.
Is that not what the
no,
letter
please,
you sent
please,
indicates?
please, no,
that we
no,
are all
no.
the nutrition professionals and dietetics
please,
have the
please,
same, and we should be moved to the other
please,
side.
Please, don't continue on that tangent. We've not asked them to be moved to dietetics. Please don't say that.
So have you seen the letter I'm talking about?
Which you want to share? If you want to share it,
I don't want to share. I want to know if you have seen the letter I'm talking about.
I presume I know the letter you're referring to.
Yeah, so didn't we say we wanted to move all nutrition professionals and dietetics under one umbrella? And that they shouldn't be under the public health. And we gave examples, reasons why they shouldn't be under public health.
Okay. Now, it's interesting. It's interesting.
Hello. It's been unfair to me.
Hello.
I think that. Yes. Yes, Auntie.
I think this conversation, we are working with time.
Yes, please.
About training, I think RD Nana Kofi brought up a very good suggestion. And we have agreed to have a separate forum for this. Let's if it is possible.
Yes,
we can push it aside and continue with the other thing, so that
I agree with you, Auntie Ham. That was going to be my next comment.
Because I think that time is not up. Parents are waiting to go and pick up their kids from school. Most of us are still in the office, and I think most of the members, they have actually dedicated their time. So let's continue with that. Then we can talk about
Beautiful.
This is a very good, and I like the way the conversation is going. Aditina, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Aditina, I appreciate the feedback. Atiamda, I agree with you. So I think what Aditina has just brought up is that we need further engagements on that conversation, which is fair. We can do that.
Very important. And then we can get members, we'll share ideas. Well, at the end of the day, whatever we have is going to further enrich that expert committee document. Thank you so much.
Yes, but let me just state and make that clear also, that Aritina, your views are well stated, trust me. And I will say that even in the expert committee meetings, which I happen to have been the secretary to, and a number of the members are in the call to, these similar views were expounded by a number of persons with nutrition expertise and training. But like you said, we would engage this as a full conversation. What I'll try to do hereafter is to tell us what we have done as Gand, particularly when it comes to the dietetic space, and why we feel that this is the direction we should be going as a collective. We all are aware of the CPDs, and I hear that I remember, I think RD Everme suggesting that we can make it, no, it is rather RD, Franklin, who suggested that we can improve it. We sought to ensure that each member gets a certificate that validates our RD credentials. And RD, Reverend Bedu, led this process beautifully last year. And so, I mean, I'm not sure, but I want to believe that a good number of dietitians have the credential certificate that says that you're a registered dietitian. So the RD status is legally binding or is legally protected because of that documentation. Our goal for doing that is to ensure that we can identify those who are properly so registered as dietitians and in Ghana to practice, so that, and they are members of the professional body, so that when we are doing and developing our operating documents, manuals, which is supposed to standardize the practice which has come up in the conversations, we can be certain that these persons have access to these documents. Now, we've spent the time building the structures, visibility. We've done a lot of these things which I would skip for reasons. But there is this thing about job classification. So recently we shared, I think it's RD Charles who shared the job descriptions of dietitians and nutritionists on the platform. So that document was prepared in 2005. And two of the people who prepared that document were members of the expert committee, Professor Zotto and Professor Paula Muna. And one of the things they said, and RD Collins, if you are able to collaborate with what I said, is that they put those informations there based on their understanding of the professions at the time. So that document that we are looking at was prepared in 2005. That is over maybe 20 years, almost 20 years ago. So it is due for review. Gand has led the process in doing that. And we had a meeting with all the nutrition people, even in the Ghana Health Service and elsewhere. And this is what happened at some point. RDB, you were in that meeting, you can confirm what I'm saying. That we all said we wanted specializations. But this is what was happening. We will say that specialist dietitian, pediatric dietitian. Then on the flip side, we have specialist nutritionist, pediatric nutritionist. Then we have specialist renal dietitian. Then there is specialist renal nutritionist, and so on and so forth. It was a very long list. It was just a mirror image of both. But again, that was what the team agreed on. We submitted it, and that document has been submitted to the Ministry of Health, because that's what the team agreed at the time. Then we've always been involved in recruitment, except that recruitment in the Ghana Health Service and in the Ministry of Health is more complicated than we would like to do. So we work with the chief dietitian, RD Dr. Ruby Atta. I saw her on the call. She's been very instrumental. Yeah, she's still on the call in this engagement. And then the nutrition director of nutrition at the Ghana Health Service in the past. Now there's a new one. We have still engaged her, but we are still working with her to get the recruitment for dietitians across but for dietetics or dietitians, RD Ruby Atta has been very instrumental in job recruitment. She helps with defining the need of dietitians in the Ghana Health Service particularly, and then we work out. Now, RD Juliana Yebua has also been very instrumental in getting recruitment in the teaching hospitals, so that we should understand that the teaching hospitals are kind of autonomous of the Ghana Health Service, or is it synonymous to the Ghana Health Service? One of the two. But they are at par in terms of organogram with the Ghana Health Service. And other teaching hospitals has also started that process. We've been engaged in as many as we are able to influence. But I must admit that the rate of employment has not been as large as we would like to have it. Okay. All right. Then we have developed and promoted the code of ethics for dietitians, so that is practice in Ghana. And we used a webinar like this. In fact, in the heat of COVID, I remember we had a series of CPD events just to digest the components of the code of ethics, and which we eventually adopted. These are things we are doing to standardize the practice. So yes, standardization is key to our practice, but standardization is not an event, it's a process. Gand, through the dietetics group, has started that process, and we are actually making significant efforts. We currently have a team which is led by RD Prince Bedu to standardize Ghanaian foods and our handy measures, to revise what we did as GDA and do more standardization of foods. This is work in progress. And I'm sure that this team was inaugurated in an open CPD like this online. For those who were participants, I'm sure you would remember carefully. We understand that for professional associations and bodies, the way to ensure that we are sharpening our skills is through professional conferences and workshops. And Gand has been very significant and played very significant roles in that. Last year, we had the COND, which should have been the second COND, or the first physical COND or in-person COND event. Then we've just because of the way we organize the COND, we have got, we're actually basically handpicked by the African Nutrition Society to host the upcoming African Nutrition Conference. It used to be called the Epidemiology Conference. Then we've had our Nutrition Month, a number of activities. Many of the dietitians have been very phenomenal in running. And these are all to build visibility for the professional, the dietitian, and then for the professional body. Then we've actually contributed to a legislative instrument. Now, it is this legislative instrument, the outcome of our contribution, and the fact that the council and its legal advisor is considering it a little differently than how we view it, and how the professions view it, that the public health conversation came up. And I'll explain to you in the next slide why some of these nuances are there, I hope. Then we've been very instrumental in lobbying for the Ghana College of Allied Health Sciences. Now, for those of you who may not see the value of this, let me explain. For the specialties and the consultancies that we are seeking to execute in Ghana, the way the Ghanaian law works, you can only train postgraduate specialties with colleges of postgraduate training, which is either privately owned or instituted by Act of Parliament. So the Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons is instituted by the Act of Parliament in 2005, I think. I think it's 5. The Ghana College of Nurses and Midwifery, I can show you their websites if you want us to. You can look at that. Now, it is these colleges, and then the College of Pharmacists, is these colleges that grants the power by the state of Ghana to run membership and fellowship programs. And these membership and fellowship programs is what translates into specialists and consultants respectively. So a member of a college becomes a specialist when he has finished the membership training, and the fellow of the college is a consultant. And that has reflection in the salary, single spine salary structure of Ghana. So I'll say that again. So if we want the specialists and consultants training to work, which is what we all desire, in fact, I am one of the highest proponents for that. We have to create either a college in fact, we have to create a postgraduate college of training, which is either a privately owned one recognized by the state or a state-sponsored one, which is instituted by an act of parliament. And all these years, we have been involved in doing this, and we've gotten pretty far in this. I'll show you, I'm showing the organogram that has come up over the year, over time. So in the proposed College of Allied Health, there are going to be 2 divisions. Now, this is where the nutrition and dietetics conversation actually started from. And this conversation started way back in when R.D. Daniel Mensah was president of the GD. But at the time, the committee that was set up decided that there are over 18 allied health professions in Ghana right now, and they are still growing by the day. But for economic reasons, because if you open a division for each profession, it means you're going to have 18 rectors. No, 18, yes, rectors. And rectors are a pay scale, which is not practical. And you're going to have, the college has a president and a rector. No, a president, yes, a president and a rector. And then there are vice rectors or vice presidents. Those are all job opportunities for you and I who have the requisite qualifications to fill them. Because the postgraduate college of allied health or postgraduate college of professional training is like an institution, a professional institution run by the professionals themselves. So this is an opportunity to create jobs for our membership. Now, and when the initial diagram or organogram was designed, dietetics was placed under physiotherapy in the faculty of physiotherapy, occupational therapy, and speech, I think. And then nutrition was placed under the faculty that has disease control, health information, and under public health. And our thinking has been that when that happens, the emphasis on the profession becomes delimited, because then if you have somebody who is a physiotherapist in charge of the faculty, chances are that that person is going to promote physiotherapy over and above the rest of the specialties in that faculty. And if you have the same thing in public health, you are going to have those challenges, because it's an issue of management and leadership. And over time, what we have succeeded in doing is to derive the faculty of nutrition and dietetics to be independent of the others. This yellow thing was not done by me. It was done by the committee that finally designed it, based on the arguments we put up, that nutrition and dietetics are more closely related than nutrition and physiotherapy or health promotion, even though health promotion may do some nutrition education, but that is not all of nutrition. Nutrition transcends education. It also goes through research, goes through, I mean, nutrition is in industry, is in industry, nutrition is in climate change, nutrition is a cross-cutting discipline. That does not make nutrition equal to dietetics. It only makes nutrition, a broad area. In other countries, like in Kenya, nutrition is actually under the office of the vice president. In fact, you can verify that the scope of nutrition management is chaired by the office of the vice president, so that all the sectors that have interlacing or connecting agriculture, for example, is connected to nutrition. Roads and transport is connected to nutrition. Basically, virtually every aspect of life is connected to nutrition in a way. So if we limit nutrition to just clinical nutrition, we'll have a problem. But in this organogram, letting nutrition as a standalone, what we actually push for was nutrition and dietetics to be a division, because nutrition is not just public health, and it's also not just clinical care. And that is where the discussions on nutritionists, but I've told you already that the International Labour Organization and the World Health Organization defines a profession called dietitians and nutritionists. So in our understanding, that is one body with two expressions, but one body. And that is what we have carried through, and that has gotten expression in this organogram. And what this means for us is that one of us, it could be anyone, it could be any one of us, maybe ID Nana Kofi or ID Ernestina or ID Hamda or anybody else, would be a vice president to this faculty. And in that faculty, we will now determine how specialists and consultants in nutrition will be trained in Ghana. We will not be hidden under the shadows of other faculties, so that we are preserving our profession even in the face of the multiplicity of allied health professions in Ghana when the college is adopted. The college was almost passed into law until the change of government in 2017. And so we've been going back and forth on that. Now, if the first one was passed, nutrition, like I said, would have been under public health. Dietetics would have been under the one that has physiotherapy, because that, according to the drafters, are closely together. Now, we do appreciate that there are 3 cadres in our profession. There's a certificate, currently there are certificate holders, the diploma holders, and then the degree holders, which we are calling the professionals. So there's the technicians, the certificate holders are we don't actually call them anything. Those are the diet cooks, that's what they are. Then the technicians, and then the professionals. In the world today, we can verify that also. As at 1st January 2024, in America, all dietitians have been encouraged to have a minimum of a master's degree to continue to hold themselves as dietitians. And this was announced several years back. So they were given, I think, 10 years or 5 to 10 years to do a master's program. Now, the view of the leadership has been this, that for the professional dietitian, we believe that if you are able to create an opportunity for our professionals to have both expertise in dietetics and nutrition, that we will not have a problem here, because we will be able to expand our tentacles to all the continuum of care, whether in the public health space or in the clinical space. Wherever you are comfortable, you practice. But whilst you are training, and if you so desire, it is like R.D. Collins has said this over and over. It's not as if the CCR program or the harmonized program, let me don't use that. The word harmonized is different. That the harmonized program is to say that everybody should go do the harmonized program. No. The idea is that if you want to do it, you have competencies in clinical care and equal competencies in public health and related care or practice, so that you the practitioner will now have the power of choice to choose which of those areas you are more comfortable to practice in. And so that brings us to harmonizing the curriculum, which the discussions have started. And I can tell you that it's not been smooth, but it has started. Which comes to the scope of practice, which is also things that we have discussed in different degrees. Now, I just feel that I want to just put this in before I make the next point I want to make. Now, one thing that is constant in life is change. In other jurisdictions, nutrition as an association and dietetics as an association has deep-rooted membership, sometimes over 50,000 in some cases, over 5,000 in some cases. In Ghana, if you put nutritionists, all nutritionists, at the last time I checked, there are just under 2,500 nutritionists in Ghana, about 2,500 nutritionists in Ghana, and just about 500, just around 400 dietitians licensed in Ghana. Now, our population needs clinical care in nutrition or in dietetics or clinical nutrition care, but our population gets public health nutrition more than it does clinical nutrition care. Our colleagues who are nutritionists have over the years been trained on the job to do dietetics or clinical components of clinical health delivery. They themselves understand that they don't have they do. There's no doubt about it. They understand that they don't have the expertise to run clinical care, except for the on-the-job trainings that they get. And many of them are desirous to do the training for clinical care. Our thinking has been simple. There is no need, there's no reason to prevent them who are already on the job, already providing clinical care. Not that, as it stands now, by the law, they don't have the legal remit to do that, but their employer gives them the training on the job. By law, the council should be going and say, hey, by the nutrition job of description, you cannot do this service. But in a more pragmatic way, why don't you create an opportunity for them to also gain the clinical competence? So if you have half of 2,500, or maybe let's say 2,000, getting the clinical competence that dietitians have, it's not as if they're getting on the silver platter. They have to still do the licensing to get the dietitian thing, and they get to practice on the job where they are with the license of dietitians. Now, many nutritionists have that. A number of nutritionists have done that. They have the training, and for institutions that have that, but they are not able to practice on the job because legally the license they have is nutritionist license and not dietitian license. So the thinking is, okay, so wouldn't it be better to allow them to create a regime which allows them, nutritionists who have gone through the requisite clinical training, to practice as dietitians and still keep their nutrition identity? And if there are dietitians who want to also have nutrition competence and they have the expertise or the training for that, should it be possible for them to do same? And I like what RD and Esina said. In other countries, there are different pathways to become a dietitian or a nutritionist, different pathways. So this is just creating multiple pathways for people who are already in the system to get the competencies they need to provide the care, so that you and I are confident that if our relative gets to them, they will be getting the minimum competent care. So you create the opportunity for them to get that license, and then you now use that license to regulate them. So rather than leaving to chance like we are doing now. So I know a couple of nutritionists who are principal nutrition officers who have finished dietetics training. They've actually even written the exams for dietetics, to be a dietitian, and they have but they prefer to stay on the job as nutritionists because of different changes or different things. So the idea to empower these people is to create a future where there's that crop of people can also get expression in their job market. And that is just significant to the self-regulation thinking, or if like the system thinking to self-regulation. So there are events that we are all seeing, there are patterns that are happening across the world, but there are structures that we need to fulfill. And the college is one of them for the specialization, the institutional trainings. So we said a harmonization in the institutions. So University of Ghana takes a few people and trains purely clinical. What University of Ghana trains in this clinical program is not exactly the same as what University of Cape Coast also trains, even though there may be similarities. So our goal is to harmonize that so that people can have those bases and then be able to write the exams, which is the leveler. So there's, no matter how nuanced your training is, there will be some basic components which is mandatory, and then you can have the license exam, which is the leveler, and then we can keep that up. And then for us as dietitians, when we have established the college, we have not left it to chance. We've begun to think through what specializations we can execute so that you and I, who want to become specialists and consultants, can do so. And one of them is, so all of these are, I guess, credentials you can add to your names because the college can give you that power to do that. And these are specialists. So CSSD is board certified specialist in sports dietetics or sports nutrition, if you want. Now, sport, then the other one is pediatric. The green is pediatric, CSP. The other one is oncology, renal, and then gastroenterology, geriatrics, and then the clinical nutrition for those of us who just like to be in the clinic. So opportunity to expand. And these are all things that are on the basis of getting the college through. Now that's if we want to wait for the government of Ghana to do so, or the Parliament of Ghana to do so. Now, I've said all this again. I'm not going to go through this report because we've agreed on it. Again, many of these things we have said, it's not just here in Ghana. The West African Health Organization and their proposed curriculum was for a 5-year training. So you train for 5 years to get a Bachelor of Nutrition and Dietetics. And our thinking is, why 5 years? Why don't you add more clinical or more practical component or professional practice component or vocational components to the training, and then it becomes 6 years and becomes, following the trend that is happening in the allied health space. And those are some of the points that has come up. And I think that this is my final slide for this evening. What we are looking at is a bigger picture. The bigger picture is a time where there is a small component we are looking at today. But how does it fit into the larger picture? The larger picture is a place where in the future, all our professionals have so many avenues to become licensed, as long as they are within our approved routes. So many avenues. So I can start with a diploma and then move to a degree and move to a stopgap program or a short program, and then get the requisite training to come and write the license exam. But most importantly, we want our professionals, many of our professionals in the future, and that's what many professionals in the Allied have done or are doing, where the entry level of the profession is not is a professional grade rather than a job title. So right now, what we have is that we say that I am a dietitian. Saying I'm a dietitian is synonymous to being a dietitian at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. These two things are, in a sense, a little quite different. So a professional position, the professional is a dietitian or a registered dietitian, or that's what we will say now. But we are thinking that nutrition is also a good component of our work. Why don't you add it to us at the goal? Registered dietitian, nutritionist. Then when you get to your job or your job offer, and it is nutrition officer, you still, I am Delali Agodo, RDN. But I'm a nutritionist at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital. I am Delali Agodo, RDN, but I am a principal dietitian at the bank hospital, or I'm the level I go do RDN when I'm a lecturer at the University of Health and Science, Allied Health Sciences. So my profession is first before my job title, so that as a professional I can rise through the RDN through to specialist, through to consultant, and that is synonymous with job. I mean, with income enhancement, rather than wait to be employed to now use. I'm a principal dietitian at. Then you mentioned the hospital that you're at. So I am first an RD, a professional first before I'm employed at an institution. That is some of the discussions that have come up. And it is, like I said, the full picture is what we are looking at. When we do this, it is just a set of people, a set of professionals who would be falling out of the scope. In fact, and it will not be the first time in Ghana, actually. When dietetics started, in fact, one of our very topmost dietitians in Ghana today, without any shred of doubt, will be Dr. Matilda Asante. But Dr. Matilda Asante is a graduate of the Stop Gap program. And for those of you who know what the Stop Gap program is, it was a 6-month program designed specifically for people who already have some first degree in nutrition-related subjects to become dietitians. And there are a number of persons with that background in the system still, and they are amazing professionals. So we are looking at a time where we will just have to do specific stopgap programs to allow all persons who are so desirous, it's not mandatory, to fill in the gaps in whatever training that they choose to do. And that is what all allied health professions have done. Pharmacy has done a similar thing. They started the PharmD program. It was not a force. If you want, you go and do it, but you do a top up if you want. But over time, after a few years of running the PharmD program, they naturally realized that having a PharmD is better than having a first degree in pharmacy. So they've basically made PharmD the entry point for their profession. Basically, I'm not saying we will do that. I'm saying that we just have to create opportunity so that our members become competitive on the job market. Now, one final thing I'm saying, in all of these conversations, we have managed to create allied health directorates in the Ministry of Health. And the same is being replicated in the ministry, in the teaching hospitals. And it will be done in the Ghana Health Service. What we have not done is that when the applicants go and they look at their basic qualifications, it's first degree or master's. And then the 6-year program, so far, all the appointments that have been done so far, the 6-year, those who have had the 6-year top up, either they didn't do it straight, they usually have the first degree, they have a 2-year top up and all other things. And then they will probably have a master's also. And their titles, sometimes we don't want to admit it. It is not that, but yes, we get those people employed ahead of our own persons. Now, we can choose to let it be to chance. That we don't care about those higher positions that will give us the impetus to change the system. But if we don't desire, that is equally fine. But the goal is to have a full picture in mind and focus on what we are doing now, one at a time, and give people the opportunity to exercise their preference in the profession as and when they want to do it. On this note, I want to say thank you very much. We have taken the leap of faith. That's what we are trying to do. But we are happy to learn from the team and see if you approve of our actions, we will go ahead. If you don't, we would make amends and continue in the way that you prefer for us to go. On that point, thank you very much for your attention. Over.
Thank you very much, RD Percival Agot. I think at this point, we'll want to just conclude. On this slide, most of the things have already been explained through RD Agodo's submissions. So we want to sum it up by looking at the purpose of today's engagement. And the purpose, we want to look at it in just 3 forms: harmony, balance, and peace. And I think the purpose of today's meeting has been very engaging. The great contributions from members, we have actually taken note of that. It is as a result of time, because we've spent almost 3 hours. It's the contributions, the diverse views that has been brought on board. The executive have actually taken note of that. And as we promise, we are going to further engage on the key issues that has been raised. So at this point, I just want to reassure members that we as GB, and especially the dietetic group, we are actually very grateful for all the contributions and then the recommendations that has been made, and that we will engage, we'll come back, we'll have to table most of these things and come back for re-engagement, for us to get the views of everybody on board, and then we can put it together and we make it, we'll have a very good result at the end. Most importantly, the balance and diversity of this group, this our noble profession, it's key to the success of this profession. And so at this point, I would like to find out from the other executives if they have anything to add, and then we can summarize and conclude, so that we'll go to the AOBs, because we've spent so much time and I think it's worth it.
Howdy, Yamda.
Yes, Audi.
I think it's been a wonderful session, and we've taken a lot of notes. So going forward will be helpful in how we make our profession great and strong. And also, at least we've started a good thing, that subsequently there will be regular engagements like this that will help us to be able to get the feeling, or what I would say, the mood of the association, the professionals, even as we move and take steps to ensure that all the concerns and cautions that have been raised will be merged together to bring about a prosperous profession. So whenever we meet like this and we are talking, we will be applauding ourselves that the concerns have been well catered for and things are getting better and better. I think that's the purpose for our gathering, and so far it's been great. And thank you to all members also for your input. And being on the line, I was just looking at the numbers. We're still around 60 from the time we started now, and I think it's a great thing. Kudos to all of us. Over.
Thank you very much, RDBD. So on this note, we want to look at the AOBs, and Yes. So we want to look at the AOBs, and then we quickly want to talk about our upcoming conference. It is very important, and we want to encourage members. I've seen for call for abstract, I think this is the last call, and for the conference, I want to take up this before maybe Dr. Hayford or any member on the team, the conference committee can come in. We have a slot for pre and post conference workshops, and from all that has been gathered for today's engagement, we want to open it up to members. We need suggestions from you. What are some of the things that the topics that you think will actually benefit us as dietitians? Please, this can be forwarded to us. We'll need suggestions to some useful workshops that will actually help us address most of the issues that we think we are confronted with, especially when it comes to our capacity building, the job space, our capacity building as dietitians, and then the job space. So let's this will not have it now, but you can send this to us. I'll send an email, the Gand Secretariat email, and then you can send those suggested questions at workshop topics or that you feel will benefit us for both the pre and then the post conference. The slots, we shouldn't waste it, please. I've seen Dr. Hayford's hand up. Dr. Hayford, please, you can unmute yourself and then.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Chair. Before I make any comment on the upcoming ANET conference as part of the organizing committee, I would say that one of the key things that I have gleaned from all our conversation is that a lot of communication need to go on between executives and then the membership. And I think that's one of the key things, going back and forth, and this fruitful discussion. I see it to be very, very fruitful and useful, because at the end of the day, when you are representing a constituent, you have been given the mandate as the leader. And the whole idea is to be able to move them in the direction that they will buy into whatever plans you have. You need to work together. Okay, then that brings me to the ANEC. So what I want to add to the proposed pre-conference or post-conference workshop, this is all up to Gand, the dietetic group, to be able to come up with something. There are also slots within the conference program itself. That Gand, the dietetic group, for instance, can come up with something. So usually you have about 1 hour 15 minutes to 1 hour 20 minutes for a program, a parallel session program. And what I would just want to add is that whatever you come up with, I would want you to always have at the back of your mind that it should fall within the context of the main theme. Okay? It shouldn't be something outside the main theme, because at the end of the day, everything that is going to go on that day must fall under the main theme or within the context of the main theme. Okay? So the program is being filled fast and thick, thick and fast. So I would encourage that whatever ideas you have that you think would be very beneficial to build the capacity of dietitians, not only in Ghana, and that is also one thing that I would want you to have in mind. You can come up with something that, because other dietitians will be coming from all around the world to be part, something that they can also benefit, something unique, maybe unique with us, that they can also take home and then go and learn or even implement. Okay, so this what I would want to include, or what I want to add to what Chair just said. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Aldi Hayford. And then also, we also have the upcoming elections. This year, the president's slot is to be filled by a dietitian. We have other positions and we are encouraging members, please come on board, take up the mandate, and let's continue to make Gand the strong force, the strong voice of nutrition in the country and then beyond. It is actually not encouraging, let me put it this way, because the nominations we've received so far, we are not seeing the enthusiastic mind, the young blood, the fresh blood. We are not seeing. Please come on board. We still have some time. You can nominate yourself. We can nominate you also. So please, we know there are conversations that are going on with other people who we are asking to actually show interest. Please, let's show interest and get involved. We can only make Gand and then our profession the way we want it to be. We want it to be stronger. We want it to be a force to reckon with when we are talking about nutrition within Ghana and then beyond. Please, let's show interest. Again, we want to encourage members to volunteer. It all boils down to volunteerism. Because when we started this engagement, R.D. Collins mentioned that it's all about commitment. And it is not a paid job. So please, let's come on board. But it's fulfilling to see that you are involved in making it work. The spirit of volunteerism, we have different committees. Please, let's come on board. We have different committees that will be made public, and then the publicity that we have talked about, which is the key thing when we had this engagement. Please, let's show interest in the committee levels. I would like to pause and then ask if there is any other matter that has not been raised yet that needs to be raised. Then we can conclude and bring today's session to a close.
Amda.
Yes.
Please, the deadline for nomination is today.
Yes, but we can still submit.
Yeah, so I'm just re-emphasizing so that those who are yet to send,
yes,
they have to send before 12 midnight.
So the deadline is today. Before 12 midnight, we still have the opportunity to serve. Please, let's show interest. I've seen Franklin, R.D. Franklin's hand up. Please, unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you very much for the opportunity once again. I think some people were asking questions pertaining about what is Gand doing about employment for those who have been home for some time now. And it looks like nobody talk about that. And also, there's also a question about the students that are coming up, or let me put it in a way that some of them don't know their left from their right. Those who are even doing their current internship don't know anything to do about their CPDs or like what they should do right after here. So I think these are some of the things that they should also talk about, but more stressful is about the employment issue. Thank you.
Okay, so R.D. Franklin, the employment issue, when R.D. Percival was doing his presentation, he spoke about that. we've done a lot, and there's assurance from government that for allied health professions, we'll be giving some slots, about 5,000 slots, but we still don't have it. But there's assurance, and you know this is election year, so we are very hopeful that we'll have the opportunity to get our members who are not currently engaged, employed. But as to when they will give us the green light, we cannot tell. But we've done a lot when it comes to the lobbying. Then again, about the students, we have a student rep who is actually in charge, and we have started a database for them because they are quite a number. You know, at the school levels, we have those who are doing nutrition and those who are doing dietetics. We are trying to get all of them on board. And we have at the GB level, who is a student rep, who is in charge of them. So there's something that is being done about that, and to also help streamline their activities. I hope this will help.
I want to add something that I know may create discussion, but let me still add it all the same. My dear colleagues, what RD Hamda has said is true. The government has promised us 5,000 clearances for allied health professionals. And as at my last check, the list of nutritionists and dietitians on that 5,000 is around 300. Now, but the truth is this, that we cannot exactly rely on the government to employ all professionals. Unfortunately, that's the difficult truth. That is why some of the strategies we are seeking to do is to empower professionals to have entrepreneurship embedded in your training from the get-go, so that we can explore the private practice, which is still areas to develop. But as far as Gand is concerned, we will make every effort necessary to get the assurances that have been given to us. But let's also seek opportunities to start our own enterprises. Our profession is one that allows you to do private practice. Let's explore that as well. Thank you very much.
RD Seram, please unmute yourself.
Yes, please. Good evening. Please, I wanted to find out about the students when they were in school. I want to suggest that will it be possible, whilst they are in school, Gand will pay a visit to them, especially during the graduation year. Gand will pay visits to them so that Gand will be able to speak with them, give them some guidelines as to what to do from school. So if maybe we could have the various school bodies, and then there will be a time that Gand can visit, let's say UHAS, for instance, or Tech, for instance. Gand members who pay a visit to them and then guide them or have discussions with them. I think it will help a lot. That's my little suggestion I wanted to put across.
RD Seram, thank you very much. We've actually started something of that sort, and I am so happy that you've raised it up again. So it's for the students in school. Their program is actually It's actually a very comprehensive one. And that is why we have one who is just in charge of them. And as you have said, we've done it before. Gand Executive actually visited UHA students, and it was very fruitful. So we will continue with that. Thank you so much for bringing it up again. So it's well noted. Any other contribution or addition? Okay. I think we have actually.
I think Collis's hand is up, and Selena.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Hello, Chair.
Yes, how do you call him?
Yes, hello, Chair. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity. Please, I want to suggest maybe for future caucus meetings, if we could have presentations first and then have our discussions, our open forum after that, maybe that can help. Because today we started with the open forum, and then we have a bit of extended presentation, and then we are now back to the discussion when the time is almost up. So maybe for suggestion for the future. And then on the issue of Gand visiting the schools, I know the practical challenge will likely be funding, to move across the country. That can be challenging. So maybe we can start virtually for a start. If we could just engage the students virtually so that they can also feel parts of Gand. And then when the resources are much available and will permit us to go around physically, then we can also do that.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
And then the funding is the main issue here. When you have to fuel your own car and drive from Kumasi to Accra. Thank you very much. Unmute yourself. Hello, RD Selena.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yes, please can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, please.
Okay. Please, my submission is concerning the 6 years program, and then a few suggestions were made that additional forum should be organized to further discuss it, and I think it's in the right direction. Because some of us still have a little concerns about it, but because there are a few suggestions that further forum should be organized, a few people didn't voice it out. So I think a forum should actually be considered before implementation is actually agreed on, because if it's agreed on and most of the members have a little bit issues with it, then we are back to square one.
All right. Selena, thank you very much.
Okay.
Mission well noted, please. I think we are done. Any other thing from the executive or members?
Sure.
Yes. Also
I realize we are 20 minutes past the advertised time. So I would suggest that since we have had a consensus that we'll have subsequent ones.
Okay.
I would suggest that so that those who join before 2 o'clock will not be overly stretched. That we pause here and continue or adjourn to the next focus meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, RD Prince. But I've seen RD Juliana's hand up. Chief Dietitian, Chief. Let's give just a minute.
Okay, thank you very much. I will say that I must tell you that I'm very, very happy about today's meeting. What I want to say is that the leaders, our current leaders, Please, let's copy like the way the doctors are doing. When someone is leaving office, they list some of the executives there for experience purposes. So not all of you should say that you will not stand. Please, I'm pleading with you. Some of you should stay so that since we are hosting the Gand leadership, we need experienced one to move the Gand agenda or group ahead. We shouldn't all say that we will not stand again. What has happened? Let it be bygone, and let's move forward. Thank you very much.
Chief.
Yes, madam.
Chief, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The last part of it, that what has happened, bygones be bygones. We are, we have been put in place by you, the team, the professionals. And the feedback is very important for us to be able to serve and then to make our profession better. These feedbacks are very necessary. And today's engagement has been very fruitful. It is not on any negative, we are not taking it as, we are actually very happy that all these things have come up. It should have been earlier for us to do, but it's fine. So we are not holding any grudge against anybody. It's actually a duty that members are actually paying. So at this juncture, I would like to, on behalf of the dietetic group, GB, and especially the dietetic executive group, to end this section, as has been suggested by most members, in a very, in due course, we'll plan for another re-engagement for us to table the key issues that has been brought up. I want to thank everybody for your time, the fruitful contributions, without fear or panic. All submissions was taken in good faith, and it is for the good and growth of our profession. We are grateful for this opportunity to serve, and we are open. Even after this meeting, please, if there are any other things that we have missed, please, you can still forward those recommendations and suggestions to us, and that will be factored in. So I'd like to end by saying, knowledge makes man unfit to be a slave. And this has actually taught all of us a lesson. It is telling us that there's no one who can whistle symphony. It takes a whole orchestra to play it. And that's the goals and the shared vision of Gand can never, especially the dietetic group, can never be achieved without the support of any one of us. Once again, we are grateful for your time and the insightful contributions. Thank you very much and have a fruitful evening. I think we started with a prayer.